Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello, this is the Late Apex podcast, not with Sam Fitzpatrick this week from the Apex Racing esports studio, but it is still with David Sampson. How are we doing?
Very good. But you are the Jamie Fluke.
In some circles, yes.
My circle.
So, if you guys love how chaotic, unscripted, unhinged this podcast is, well, you've got me this week, so it's going to be even worse.
I think we still hold the record for the longest episode. Last time we did this.
Yes.
Sam's always been jealous. Like, what did you guys talk about?
I don't remember what we talked about. I haven't got a clue.
No.
I was here in body, maybe not entirely in spirit. Who knows? But yeah, we're back for another episode. A lot to get through. It's been a busy week with sim racing. And yeah, David, where do you want to start?
Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way, because then we can just chat about everything else. Let's start with the red line. Let's start with the Nord 24.
Nord 24, yes.
For obviously those that don't know, it's one of the pillars of special events in iRacing. Has been around for a very long time. And where we're discussing is the top split, which is the best of the best. And I think it was, did I hear rumors of 9.1k soft in GT3?
It was pretty stacked. Like our academy card didn't get in, did they?
No, I didn't know that, but apparently they got into split too.
Yeah. Which like we tried to get those boys into top split, and didn't happen. So
yeah, absolutely stacked.
Yeah, really busy. But some nefarious activity has come out of it, which is
so obviously at the time live, all we saw was Redline take P1. P2 and I believe P6 or P5.
P5, P6, something in that realm.
In qualifying. And then as soon as, I don't want to say green, as soon as you're released under the safety car to start rolling forward, they, admittedly, they did pull over quite politely.
Yes.
They did pull to the side.
And towed.
So to everyone's surprise, for a few seconds, because then people started rewinding, and first thing people noticed was the grooves on the tyres, because you can see if the wet tyre's loaded. Now, had that just been one car, had it just been one car and their pit stop time not included fuel, we would have probably just put it down to, loaded the wrong dock. Yeah. All three, all rain tyres, and they towed. And we saw from their pit stop time that their seated time was not just tyres, it was full tank of fuel also. Yep. So they'd gridded on minimum fuel I mean minimum as in they cannot complete a lap. Wet tyres. And that was to circumvent the minimum ride heights. Now, I have had this happen to me. At Bathurst 12, I didn't load the wet tyre, but I loaded the Q dock for the start of a 12-hour race.
We've all been there. We've all loaded the wrong setup at the wrong time and went, panic.
So, admittedly, we did have to... I mean, it was a scramble. We definitely didn't gain anything time-wise, but two factors did work to us. Yes, our car was amazing up the mountain. It was amazing. I never felt anything like it. And half the grid crashed on lap 1 up the mountain. There was a big stack, so we avoided it, towing.
Yeah.
But anyway, they circumvented the ride heights. They had run their car as low as possible without fuel and with a thick tyre.
Yes. So for context, I think the diameter of the wet tyre is sufficient to where you gain maybe between like 2 and 3 mil of ride height across front and rear. So if you can, and bearing in mind that at the Nordschleife we have different ride height regulations.
Correct.
Where this actually becomes quite relevant. So you have to run the front a full 20 millimeters higher.
Yeah, 70, isn't it?
70 instead of 50 millimeters on the front. So if you can get some free downforce by getting that car lowered back down again, now obviously the Nordschleife is very undulating, hilly, bumpy in places. You want to take curbs and stuff like that. So you want maybe a little bit of clearance, but you would never set the car up with an extra 20 millimeters of extra ride height if you didn't have to.
Correct. We know you can get away with low because that's what we used to do. I mean, hell, this 20 mil came around from all of us constantly complaining to iRacing. Front of the car's fallen off, getting damaged, getting meatballs just driving. iRacing was like, you can't run those type of setups. iRacing kept having patches, kept running patches. And in the end, they just were like, no, if you guys aren't going to fix it, we're going to fix it properly.
To be fair, though, I actually think it's the actual regulation when they race at the Nordschleife where they have to run 70 millimeters on
exactly.
For their safety, I suppose. So that's sort of the backstory behind it. It's whether it constitutes as cheating, nefarious activity.
Correct.
Like, where does everyone sort of sit on it?
Obviously, here's my take. I'd love to hear your take as a esport professional. Gridding on the wrong tyre is allowed. You're allowed to start on the wets in a dry race. Perfectly allowed. Starting on not enough fuel to even do a lap, I don't think there's a rule against it. It's a bit stupid. Towing without incident and while the rolling starts happening. Now, like, even if they didn't, but had they just gained time relative to their position by pulling this off, because we all know the outlap is quite long, the safety car release and the let go can we've seen tracks where it's not quite timed, but towing's not illegal either. But when they towed, plus the wets, plus the minimum fuel, I think leans heavily into the nefarious tactics to circumvent either a rule or use an exploit. I just think because it's a package deal.
Yeah.
You know.
The one thing that I hasn't been mentioned that they might have done as well, and I just thought of this on the spot, they could have just ran it on maximum pressures as well to balloon the tyre even more so that they could maybe get even more of an advantage. No, obviously,
I've never checked if pressures changed the way.
It should do.
Yeah. So high-pressured wets on min fuel.
No, I have no idea if they did that or if they went that far with it. But, yeah, it's...
it does, Cash in chat is saying.
It does, yeah. I thought it would. So, yeah, they were better off not towing. According to Cash, just go to pits when it goes right. Yeah.
Is it open? Pre-green, is the pits open?
Well, great question, because I've never tried to pit as the race has started. I don't think I've ever tried to do it. Actually, no, I tell a lot. I remember seeing this. This is a really long time ago. I did like a streamer race, whatever build that Hungaroring came out. You might have been in
What,
it.
the Ferrari?
Yeah,
I remember.
Gustavo was in it as well, and I'm pretty sure enough he drives for Redline now, doesn't he? And he pulled into the pit lane under pace car to do. I think we had to do like a mandatory pit stop or something like that.
Correct.
I think he did that. So I think you can just pull in on the green, and if they'd done that, then maybe it would have been fine. But yeah, I think what they were trying to do was tow, and because it's a fairly long run from when you or where you get spawned in versus the start finish line. They were hoping that if they tow and then do the service that they wouldn't actually have to sit and wait, so they'll come back out where they were. I don't know exactly what their plan was or what way they tried to test it, but it does look like.
I do feel had they just pitted, then no cheating, no nefarious tactics. I don't even think they're exploiting. Starting on wets with low fuel.
If they do a lap and they're 20 seconds off pace
and they pit
on lap 1 or at the end of lap 1 or whatever,
then it's just a strategy call.
I agree.
A bad strategy, technically.
Well, who knows? Maybe it actually would have worked, but once they got.
No, I mean starting on the wets on a dry track. Like what means you're not. I don't feel like you are technically exploiting.
Yeah,
but I feel the usage of the tow while these things were happening is way too much, especially starting from pole. Not just pole, but 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like they
They're probably going to win the race anyway.
It's insanity, yeah.
Probably. They didn't need to do it.
If they'd just done it with one car,
yeah.
Granted, we would have still spotted the wet tyre. If they'd have just done it to the one car, especially that P6 car, I think it would have gone unnoticed.
Probably.
Plus, they could have controlled the race from 1 and 2, and I don't know.
Yeah. They had different ways which they could have went about it. Sure.
Because they must have thought about this, but the one thing they obviously didn't think about, it needed an example being made of. Like, it's the leaders of the damn race.
Yeah.
It's top split. It's
all eyes are on it.
All eyes are on it. It's one of the big 4 or 5 of the year.
Yeah.
Big team.
It's not been received well by the community.
No. We've always known about this ride height thing. It's just not easy to pull off because you need to. At some point, you're going to pay a lot of time to make this strategy happen.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of people running really high pressures at Daytona for the opening stint and then coming in and going back to low pressures.
Let me just write this down. Hold on. What was you saying? Stint 1.
Stint 1.
Okay.
High pressures.
Yep.
And then pitting, fresh set of tires, and the tires pressures back down so that you have a lower ride height then for the rest of the race. Now, I don't have any examples where I know that, but I've heard it discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a completely alien concept, but yeah, they've went quite far with this. I get if it was a case of they did a lap of the race on the wet on enough fuel to do a lap, and then come in pitted and done whatever, then there's maybe more of an argument for it, and say this is absolutely fine. But they've tried to pull a fast one by doing it with the tow as well and bringing a lot of attention towards it. So
and obviously they continued for a few hours. We know Nim Cross, head iRacing steward, was in the Redline chat or the iRacing chat, which
iRacing chat actually.
iRacing chat, and he was quoting rules and regulations regarding the usage. I forget the numbers he quoted, but basically along the line of gaining an advantage by circumventing a rule per se.
Yeah.
So, but why do you think it took hours? Do you think that they got in contact somehow?
They must have.
And then, because obviously the stream ended abruptly.
Yeah.
And it all just kicked off. So, yeah, it was. Do you think there'd be any bans, or do you think the disqualification?
No, I think the fact that they pulled over and called it there, it's all right, we admit defeat on this one, don't ban us. But for a lot of those guys anyway, what's a 1 week or 1 month ban really going to do? I mean, outside of maybe, when's Watkins Glen?
True. Yeah.
Outside of that, what's it really hurting to those guys?
Especially, we see this a lot. We never know the length ban because they're back for the next race.
Yeah.
But there's always that fear, what happened with, let's say, Spets, where they, seemingly wanted to make an example of this type of action. There is always the fear, right, that you get. I mean, people always think it's a 1 year ban. No, these bans are lifetime bans, and you get the appeal a year later. And if you get the appeal approved, you're back in.
Well, Spets one was different. It wasn't just because
it was multiple, right?
Yeah, because that was his third offense or something like that. If that was his first offense, he would have got banned for a week.
Right, yeah.
Regardless of what he did. But because that was his, he was on his last.
Another thing, with the red line 1 and 2 in qualifying, Spets would have put it on pole, wouldn't he? That race. Anyway.
Maybe, probably.
I mean, he was cooking that week.
Yeah.
I don't know what you boys were cooking. We had a GTP team then, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't race it, so it wasn't my fault.
All right, yeah. So unfortunately, that did put a negative on the event.
Yeah.
But how did the Apex boys finish? The Apex Racing team. I will discuss the academy team in 2 minutes.
It didn't go great. Bit of shuntage happened. Yeah, we lost it from the lead.
Yeah, I saw Sanchez leading,
which is a shame. And then second or third, I think it was in Porsche Cup before incidents. So yeah, yeah. We move on.
Yeah.
We move swiftly on.
Unfortunately, the Apex Racing Academy team in Split 2 was killed by my team. One of our drivers had a CPU issue and it caused massive netcode and caught up in it. The 2 minutes of netcode chaos was unfortunately the Apex Racing Academy team.
Yeah.
So flowers and chocolates and everything's forgiven.
I mean, it's not. It's one of those things that's like out of everyone's control, really, in the moment. Like whenever you have one of those like CPU issues where it does cause carnage, like, well, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it was really frustrating. We were sitting P3, really comfortable position. Our drivers were driving very well. Strategy was still on point. Fuel was on point. We were just cruising at this point. We just wanted to get deeper into the race. And yeah, obviously in my mind, like I felt like afterwards I should have just told him to park it and tow, but I couldn't A, tell how bad it was, and B, like you're always nervous of because that is the last call you make of the race. So you're always praying it's just going to snap back, mate. Don't just calm, just drive careful, and everything's going to be all right in like 30 seconds when all this goes away, and we'll be laughing and forget about it. And unfortunately, it didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a shame. But yeah, Nord 24. Moving on. Le Mans Ultimate had put out their big patch with the Lexus GT3, the Lambo GT3, and Qatar. I tested it on early access, which was good for them because the servers were down. So all I could really test was all the local and the AI. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the cars, the GT3 models. They promised like better FFB in the low speed. I agreed. Now, I did make a comment that there was more, but it wasn't detailed more. It was just weight.
Yeah.
So like on the slow speed before, it almost, I don't know if you felt it, but it almost like your wheel went off.
Yeah, but like, it was just like wash. Like once you went slightly over the limit, it was like, oh, my wheel, I feel nothing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now you feel like that drop off of FFB's gone.
Yeah.
It keeps something, but if I'm being honest, it just feels like it is just something.
Yeah.
Like maybe the detail layer needs addressing. Like what's there is still not there, but at least your wheel isn't. No, I need more time, but that was my initial feeling, that it was just car weight that you were feeling, as opposed to any fidelity. But I liked it. It gives you a ton more confidence to be a bit more aggressive on the rotation and feel the weight of the car, how it transfers. But yeah, I don't know if I was feeling anything extra than I was previously. But obviously, the reason we bring this up, unfortunately, let's start with the bad news. Once the servers did come up, now let's just put this into perspective. When they came up on iRacing build day.
Yeah,
they were finally going to go toe to toe with iRacing and take them on. Right, new car. They've finished the 2024 calendar. They've got all the cars now. They've got all the tracks. Servers have been running well. New GT3 tire model. They were ready.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, servers came up, and I didn't get to experience this. I've watched it all third hand.
Second hand.
Second hand. I don't know what third hand is.
From a different dimension.
There were a few bugs that had crept in. They did get the hot fix out quite quickly, but one of the bugs, unfortunately, was pretty nasty. Your tire would be zero. So in LMU, you can see live tire telemetry. and people were getting 0%, and just thinking, oh, maybe it's a UI glitch, and then no,
Actually 0%.
actual 0%.
Oof.
It had something to do with they'd introduced like limiting tires, so you're only allowed 2 sets or 3 sets or 4, and I think sort of somewhere in the code the other tires have been given 0%, like they've been turned off, but somehow you're able to put those ones on.
I see.
Which is not ideal. So yeah, obviously that was quite frustration. There was a few server issues with cars and allocation. Race splitting, there was some issues, some crashes they've fixed. So it was a bit of a shame because ultimately the new cars are really good. The new track. I'm not a Qatar fan. I didn't think I was. Yeah. To me, it's like a big Top Gear test track.
So Qatar is kind of a weird one in that it's very much a bike track. It's laid out, the radius, the course, everything about it is a bike track. It kind of works okay in F1, but it's not really built for the vast majority of cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite easy to learn because it's all
in front of you.
All in front of you.
It's just all there. There's no like big elevation changes or blind corners or anything.
Maybe with some races and time, I can find my passion for it. But I just, nothing wrong with the LMU's introduction with it. I thought it was good. It looked good. It felt good. But to me, it just did not have I called it Bahrain because it reminded me of Bahrain, but without that double left and the couple of the feature corners.
Yeah.
So I coined it Bahrain.
Well, Bahrain is built for F1 cars. It's built for cars. The Losail circuit of Qatar, not so much. It like you can even just like look at it and just like look at the way that the corners flow. Looks really good on it. Like if you watch MotoGP there, it looks really like it looks the bike sort of sling from corner to corner and it kind of flows nicely. But if you try and do that in a car, it's just a lot of long, constant radius sort of corners.
Yeah,
and it's,
constant radius corners.
And it's pretty flat as well. So it's not like in a GT3 car. Like it's why Coda in anything that isn't a single seater is a bit rough.
Yeah.
Like a GT4 or GT3 around Coda is
it's just pain.
It's painful. Yeah.
It's the widest track in the universe, and yet you still get an off track at every corner.
Yep. Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. So yeah, a shame on that front, but it looks like LMU's still doing really well.
It is. Numbers are good, participation good, the vibe is good. And hey, at least there's people to care about these issues they had.
Yeah.
Go back not that long ago. No, if a tree falls and no one has to see it. No,
did the tree fall?
Yeah, exactly. So, they got the hotfix out quick. It was a shame on the timing because not everyone was available to fix it because, well, they're at Le Mans.
Yeah.
Marketing the game. Pimax are there. VR are there. Like, we'll get into that a bit more in a second. But, so, unfortunately, but still, they went toe-to-toe with iRacing on the same day. I appreciate that. Moxie, is that the word? But they tried. They didn't nail it, but
they gave it a good go, and it's not a complete disaster.
No, and lesson learned. There's testing procedures. Obviously, would be my things like this. Every time you have this, you've got to patch it, but then take a look at your process from A to Z and how a thing gets added. Because you can't. As your app gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you can't just add stuff and think, this is good, let's go. It happens.
As much as we malign iRacing for their end of season build updates and how long that seems to take, at least whenever it comes back up over the last 8 or 9 years or so that I can remember, it's like everything's pretty playable and ready to rumble, and we're into a new season kind of a thing. Obviously, they make adjustments and tweaks and fixes, and some stuff comes out that isn't absolutely polished, and that's an increasing thing. Like they used to be nearly bulletproof with that, and now it's less so. But it's a lesson all round, I think, for the.
Do you remember TCRs at Daytona? What happened when they changed the bus stop?
I don't. What did it nose in?
No. If a TCR touched the curb, it meatballed.
Oh
yes, it was touch the curb.
Ah.
So it'd be like your P8, and you start thinking, wait, what? It's like, I best be careful.
Yeah.
Everyone in front of me has meatballed, and yet I can see them going down the straight.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, that was quite the bug. Okay, so more LMU. Traction did an interview with, one minute to bring this up, with Stephen Hood, and they discussed console. Now, this has been something I've been really keen to know, because when we talk about console games and who can go there, iRacing, their pricing model can't go there. The horizontal size of their game, like the way it's not a console game.
Sure.
The UI doesn't. I mean, it's more like a trading platform for stocks and shares than it does a console game.
Yes.
And it's it's unfocused, and what I mean by that is they have everything. Like iRacing does everything. LMU, however, has a very console feeling UI. They're hyper focused. They have just at the moment one thing they care about.
Yep.
They've partnered with Pimax, so VR's there. They've got lots of, we know Moza, Fanatec, and Simacube, and all these companies have got their profiles and everything dialed in. So, yeah, they sat down and spoke. They said it is going to happen, but do not expect it this year. It is going to take way over a year. Where's one of the quotes? But basically, it's the technical. They're discussing with a company who handles porting big games from PC to consoles, and he's just running through the challenges and everything they're focusing on right now to get everything done. They just need to let that happen when it happens. I mean, I have said this for a very long time. A game that takes sim racing seriously over on consoles that works like the games we like works could be a big financial hit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What have they been playing in the past? Like a patched version of ACC at best. But even that, people think, can't I just play ACC on console and do sim racing? Well, it sounds like you can, but you don't get any of the LFM support. So if you remember, ACC didn't really succeed when I mean succeed, I mean in our universe of sim racing. Yeah. LFM ACC, massive success in our realm. Console users never got that bit.
Yeah. The bit that actually was a success.
Yeah, for us. If you just want to drive around and have fun in cars, then
yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, financially, it could be huge for them, right? They've got the right license. They're hyper focused. Splits are huge. If they now crossplay and console users, now obviously when I say console users, I am picturing peoples with wheels and pedals, not pads.
Yeah.
I honestly think if you run a pad, you should be in a pad split, personally.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it could be huge for them. They just need to get it right. And obviously they can afford to think further ahead. Unfortunately, when you're running low on funds, you have to think short term. When you have money, you can look up and start planning ahead. And since the Pimax investment, they can plan ahead. And if they have enough money to see them all the way through to console release and getting that ported, and then yeah, I don't see how they can have their moment for sure during the Le Mans 24 when they advertise the game. PC gamers, we're still a small breed.
Oh, minuscule, really?
Yeah, advertising this for console could be huge. Could be huge. Really don't know. We've never had sim racing success on console outside of Gran Turismo. Yeah,
maybe Forza.
Yeah, well, if we're including Forza, then Mario Kart as well, and Trackmania.
Trackmania, yeah. All roads lead back to Trackmania.
That's what I always say. Still the best tyre model. All right, the really positive news on LMU. The Aston Martin Valkyrie. So when I said to Jamie earlier, I was alluding to them being at Le Mans. They were in partnership with Pimax. We spoke about this last week, letting people try the game, stick on a Pimax headset. But listen to this. Best sounding car in all of racing, do you think?
It's up there for sure.
Here we go.
We ready?
Yeah. Hope that's not too loud.
No, I hope it is too loud.
But yeah, the Aston Martin Valkyrie, now we can't drive it. It was just for the people at the event.
Yep.
But I'm excited. It's a hype car. And that's... But yeah, check it out on their Instagram.
Yeah. Steering lock.
Yeah, I don't like the steering lock. But it is definitely a hype car. 007 is the number. Like, they cannot go wrong.
No.
And they've got all the GT... they're not called GTPs, are they? LMHs.
LMDH.
I think they're LMH for WEC.
Are they? I'm getting a bit old for all these acronyms.
Yeah, there's a lot of acronyms.
I'm back at my old job talking about KPIs and OOOs. And, who knows?
I'll be interested to see how they release this, though. Like, they've done their season pass and then the hacks. Now, I'm old when it comes to season passes. Even I, who it's my job to talk about stuff like this, I get confused. But there were 5 packs. I think this was the 5th we just had. And you could buy them individually.
Yeah.
Or you could get the season pass. And then you get these for free because you've paid an all-in-one price that's slightly cheaper than...
yes, for free.
Yeah, for free. LMH for WEC, LMDH for IMSA. Yeah. Oh, hey, Woody. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then there is some crossover, hence GTP, which encompasses both in IMSA, right? Yeah, in IMSA it's GTP.
Yes.
Yeah. It's GTP, Woody. And then LMDH is primarily what we have, but LMHs are welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just give me a Group C. Group C, like from the, what was it, the late 80s, early 90s? Just drop that in there just for the giggles and just see what happens.
Yeah, 100%.
Just drop the old Cyber C9 into there, just to see what happens. Who doesn't want to see that or hear that? Oh, so good.
My problem on that point, sim racing seemed really fickle with what is current and happening. What killed GTEs in sim racing?
Oh, because they weren't relevant anymore. And
crazy, right?
I know. It's
everyone, we all as a community say GTEs were the best. We missed the days.
Yeah,
we killed it.
Yeah,
us.
The cars are still there.
And ESS ran for
another couple of years.
Yeah. But we killed it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We heard we can't race it anymore. I'm a real life driver who plays in a sim. I can't touch that anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah. I mean, even like we lost the GT World Championship, which was GTAs.
Yep.
And that all died once the GT was no longer active. It's crazy.
Remind me, when iRacing used to have the official GT3 license, the Blank Pan.
Yeah.
And when we lost that, that was ACC, right?
Yep.
Right. I thought, because I think that's when I just got into sim racing.
Yeah.
I remember it happening. I always got confused.
Which is where we went to GTE. And yeah, then it all changed. Sort of back end of 2019.
It was the golden era for me, GTEs.
It was pretty. No, I'm slightly longer in the tooth when it comes to sim racing. The 2016, 2017 sort of era of GT3, so that V5, V6 tire model, still hasn't been matched, hasn't got close since.
Wow.
Not that the tire itself was brilliant, but there was no chase, there was no faffing about. You could drive slow on your outlap to save the tire a bit and preserve it that way, but no tire curing, none of that nonsense. No Smurf accounts back then either.
No.
None of it. No such thing. So every soft was like 6K. Back when nobody had more than like 8. It's great.
Hello, Teague in chat. And Mr. Dave Cam. Both.
Everyone misses the GTEs.
We all miss GTEs.
Yeah.
I missed GTEs when I stopped driving it deliberately.
Yes.
And we all stopped driving it deliberately and we all missed it.
Yes. Tremendously.
It was madness. We're all mad.
And we all drive the GT3s religiously and say how terrible they are to drive and how terrible the tires. Why don't we all just not drive them and go back to GTE or GT4? I'm a big advocate for GT4. I think GT4 is great. If you want your multi-class stuff, then you do the Sports Car Challenge by Falcon Tower and get lobbed by an LMP3 instead of a GTP that's likely to spin it because it can't handle cold tires.
Yep. Sounds like a...
Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent, but... Yeah.
No. We tangented long ago.
So that was something to do with LMU way back. Like, how did we even get...
No, that's good. We can jump onto iRacing now. Obviously, we covered the new content last week, but let's I've had 23 hours of drive time already on the new tyres.
Yeah.
So I've got some experience.
A little bit, yeah.
And you've got 4, 5?
Probably about 3 or 4 hours of experience on the GT3s. Yeah.
And they call you the pro and me the streamer pleb.
Yeah.
It's all upside down, mate.
It is.
I practice. You're just talented, and I practice.
No, I wouldn't say I'm talented.
Oh, okay.
No, I had to work hard to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Being talented implies that
and
I
now
just
you're
was good.
talented. No. Now you are talented now.
I'm slightly washed, but we'll roll with it.
Okay.
We'll roll with it. So yeah, thoughts.
Yeah, new GT3 time model. First of all, let's just focus on that.
Yeah.
What's your feeling outside of the GT3 Acura setup fixed?
So I feel like this is a slightly contrarian opinion, but I don't think it's really that different or that much of an improvement, if at all. It's yeah. So at high speed, it's like once the tires are up to temperature and pressure, it's basically like driving a prototype, which feels weird. It's back to the IMSA data stuff from like 2-3 years ago.
I agree. The higher the wings, the higher the down. The higher
Yeah.
you're pushing the car, the downforce levels definitely go higher than we ever had.
Yeah.
Well, apart from IMSA data.
Yeah, I still think we're nearly carrying the same sort of speed in like T1 at Sebring on a high downforce set.
Mhm.
Now, when we run a low downforce set, and I did try that at Sebring just for the giggles, just like, well, how does this feel? And honestly, it wasn't like it felt like how I would expect the GT3s to sort of feel through a high speed corner. Low speed, I mean,
Yep.
we have so much traction now; it's crazy. So you don't need wing levels for traction anymore. I don't love how the tire still feels on the limit. It's very vague of like where that limit is.
More so than the previous? Or
About the same.
Right.
How you get punished now is just different. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. You could like, so I think Sunset Bend's a really good example of a corner where you can have a snap on entry.
Mhm.
Like, so you'll bomb it into the corner and you'll try and like figure it out as you go along. If you have one wobble on the way in and like have to catch something, you're still scrambling for grip for the whole rest of the corner, like majorly.
I see what you mean. You're going to say it doesn't stop the current corner being dangerous. It's
Yeah.
just, it's going to reset the second you get straight.
As soon as you get straightened and
Mhm.
pointing to the next corner, you're fine.
Sure.
And then the next corner itself is fine. So it is a massive improvement that way compared to instead of it ruining the current corner you're in,
Yeah.
it ruins the
next-
the next 10 laps, basically.
No, I agree. Lots to the point. Now, I will say one thing. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. You're not noticing the difference because you never leave the window, sir. Like, hear me out. I'm including chat and myself here. We are really bad on things like throttle. Like when we're turning, we turn too much and we throttle too early and too much. I for sure I did notice what you said about the current corner.
Yeah.
It almost feels like once the car gets straight, temps, especially the spiked part of the temps, just clear themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, you have heated up the tires,
Yeah.
but the extra bit gets nullified,
Yeah.
which is brilliant. I did like 4 or 5 hours of Daytona, minimum wing, Merc, which can be very scary. I had a moment in T1, like lost the rear, collect it, got going, hit the 3D curb, another little slide, get to the next right-hander, and I've done 20 million hours. I felt like I was going to just do that stupid, numb spin.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, brakes felt good. Tires were warmer, but I had grip. Like inherently, my car was under me still. So for that, I loved it.
Yeah.
The cold tires, I'm fine with, to be honest. With high wing, it's really understeery
Yes.
to the point where you actually think something might be wrong with your wheelbase.
Or if you hit the brakes too hard into one of the corners and then you go to like release off the brake and turn and you're like, oh, no, I have cheese under me instead of tires. Right, got it.
Yeah.
So
On low
Right.
wing, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
On cold tires, I think we're going to see a lot of. Well, week 13, we're seeing like Watkins Glen T1. People are turning in, turning in, turning. Now you need to get to the throttle. There's a curb. Any ride height changes, you don't have enough tire temp to throttle yet.
Yeah.
what was I going to say?
My main concern with the cold tires is not really anything to do with the cold tire itself, but I think this is a point that you probably were going to get onto. Qualifying.
100%. It was what I had forgotten. I am pretty upset. As far as the whole update as a whole, I'm pretty happy. I, though, feel qualifying is beyond a joke.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's laughable that even a % of a % could think this is realistic. Because in no setting does a pro driver head out on cold tyres and go for a quali lap and have 8 minutes and 2 laps. That is not how it works.
No.
The pro driver will keep going around until the tyre's ready and go for his laps.
Yeah.
So we have not captured the realistic effect of the tyres at all. And unfortunately, I tested. I tested just doing an out lap like I would normally do. First lap was awful. And by awful, I mean a minimum 3/10 off. And that's if you've practiced the understeer.
Yeah.
Minimum 3/10 off. 3/10 off, sorry, 3/10 off lap 2.
Yes.
If you do 8 laps on race fuel and then jump into queue, you're not touching that lap you did on lap 7. Not touching it, even on queue fuel. So push lap 1 is in the bin. Push lap 1 is another out lap now in GT3.
Yep.
As I've done like...
And I've seen that at Spa, like it's like Spa's as long as we do.
Correct, yeah.
Laps as well.
I tried, well, Road Atlanta, I don't even want to talk about.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. T1, like, yeah, anyway. So double out lap, and then I tested cheesing the hell out of it, unfortunately, reaps benefits. So lots of weaving, abusing the wheel in the slow speeds while the strictness thing doesn't notice because it thinks you're steering a corner. And I hated brake dragging. Sorry, and formation laps. I don't know if you've seen week 13, but formation laps, it's all this again. Brake, everyone's braking.
Shunting as well. I've seen people shunting on the PS lap as well.
So I think they've captured the cold tyres great.
Yeah.
For an endurance, stint 2, new drivers getting in, he needs to be really careful.
Yeah.
Brilliant iRacing. You have captured it.
Yeah.
In GTPs and GT3s, you captured that experience. Race start and qualifying, it's Disneyland. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't want qualifying to now be 25 minutes, and I don't want race start to actually be like IRL, where you just go around the track under safety car till everyone's happy and all the drivers are happy, and then we go green.
Yeah.
I just want them to pre-warm the damn tyre to what the IRL drivers have for the start of their push laps and for the start of the race. That's what I want. That's realistic. And it gets rid of all the cheesing. I don't want to cheese in qualifying.
No.
It looks terrible on stream. Yeah. People are like, oh, why? And obviously, I do double out lap of cheesing and then 1x T1 anyway, so I look like an idiot. So yeah, my thoughts are pretty strong on the whole. Like you said, it's not the cold tire; it's how the cold tire is being used in iRacing.
Yeah,
we have some short formation laps.
Yeah. Where you have like 2 corners to get your tires working.
Yeah, and then T1 is...
And then you're straight into it. Like, that just doesn't happen.
And before someone says it's the same for everyone, it is.
Yeah.
But not if the person next to you knows how to cheese the tyres.
Yeah.
And then you are not in the same league as them.
And not... Right, so it's the same for everyone in a way, but the idea of having the cold tyres in the first place is to mimic real life. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why are we doing this? This is
correct.
So dumb.
Because
they do it in real life for...
Yeah, global warming, tyre warmers. We don't impact global warming by using digital tyre warmers.
Well, we do by sticking our PC on and running a 4090 GPU or 59 or whatever we've got now.
Yeah.
So we're not helping things that way. So give me a damn tyre warmer.
Yeah.
For qualifying. And if we have a short formation lap, then yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to ditch the short formation. We fought iRacing hard for those over the years. They took years to come in. We do not want to be like, no, please, we go back to doing the 5-minute out laps.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to replicate the real thing, well, the real thing, their tires are warm on their Q lap.
Yep.
After 4 or 5 laps, so give us 4 or 5 laps of temp and just let us go out and do the thing, rather than having to waste time like they do in real life.
Correct.
Let us be efficient and then be inefficient, rather than us be as inefficient and look stupid by dropping the car every 3 corners.
Yeah, it is such a shame. But I say, don't get me wrong. Like in GTP, cold tires are deadly. At Daytona, it's the scariest thing in sim racing. I like that. When it's an endurance and you're coming out on the next stint and you've wanted new tyres, so you've got to pay the price. they've captured it just like I see on TV.
Yeah.
But on TV, I never see the other nonsense. So I don't know if it'll be addressed.
I mean, Teague's point there, a tire warmer option. Just have a checkbox: tire warmer on, tire warmer off.
For a session?
For a session, and that's a per session basis. So in practice, you would have them off. In qualifying, you could have it on, and then in the race, you could have it off again. Or
depending on if it's short or full pace lap. Yeah,
exactly. And that would solve a lot of things. And we would just get the tire up to 80 or 90C or whatever, and then we can all go drive properly.
And I'm seeing like people test varied wings based on qualifying to race because of the understeer. Yeah, so maybe maximum wing for the race, but for quali,
you trim it out so the thing can actually turn.
Yeah, so for T1 you have a little bit of turning. I don't mind that. It's the same for everyone. But again, I don't think it's a skill gap we're creating. Cheese and testing cheese and manipulating cheese is not skill gap. It's I want to jump. I'm a good driver. I want to jump in and do good.
Yes.
But this is not what I want to do. I don't want to do any of this.
I mean, it's why I have zero desire to qualify back in for PES again. Like, no interest at all. Like, looking at what those guys have to do every week and what I used to have to do for 3 years, I don't want to do that again. And I don't want to take the moral high ground and then just start back row by 2 seconds every race because I just want to drive the damn thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I lived a lot of us did. We lived through Break Dragon.
Yeah.
And I took the moral high ground. Plus, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Most people now still don't know what to do, and it's dead now. Like, we've gone past it.
But it was bad. It really was bad. And like you could overtake these people lap 6 because, well, you're a faster driver than them, but they Q pace was 6 cents quicker. I don't want to live through any of that again. And so,
but we're going to because of what it looks like.
100%. Yeah, I found a lot of time in qualifying. A lot. Like, you know, I had done I'd done 8 hours. You know? I wasn't missing tents anywhere. I'd done I knew my sector times. I knew everything. So then I did quali in various trims and styles, and I found a ton of lap time, and it had nothing to do with me driving better.
Yeah.
And
I haven't done a lot of like racing other people. In fact, I'll false skimmer. Not done any of those like week 13 races. Been busy trying to get data pack sorted, but I watched a streamer. I'll not name him because it feels like I'm picking on him, but I'm not. On his outlap at Spa, dropped it twice. Like had a full on spin and then got the thing gathered up and the tires were still like mega cooked and dropped it again next corner. Once he got it gathered up again, he went and stuck it on pole by like 3/10 over guys with like 10k I rating, and he's not 10k I rating either. Right. So it's one of those that's like, what are we doing? This is frying my head. This shouldn't be how it works. Oh yeah, let me like spin through a couple of corners. Oh, and what Arc TV actually mentioned in the chat there that the post-spin car reactions are poor. So we've seen the James Baldwin video, I'm pretty sure. At some point.
Yes,
and I seen something from Johan actually. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. Up at the top of Radeon, where the car completely unloaded, dropped it, was at well over 45 degrees, just right hand down, and it like squared itself off like a TCR.
Yeah, I saw this as well. It reminded me. I used to drive Skippy for well over a year. We used to jam both pedals in, and didn't matter. Yeah, it would just self-heal.
That probably still works in a lot of cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
But I digress. So
that's the GT3s.
Yeah, I mean, lots of good. I'm not trying to be super negative. Like the actual driving, the racing, netcode. I noticed something.
Yeah.
I noticed it's better across the board, but because of one factor that I've been crying for, just rather than being super strict with the out, be lenient with the in. We're seeing a lot more cars inside each other a little bit. Now, is it as pretty? No, but at least it gives you
fun.
Exactly. It gives us an inch or two.
Yeah.
When the netcode, when the
we're racing over the internet for goodness sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us margin rather than punish us extra.
Correct. Yeah. When the pings are bad or when the extrapolation is bad, they're being 100% more lenient.
Yeah.
I had so many instances and saw so many instances where I was like, like I thought, oh damn, that was close.
Yeah.
Watching the replay, no, it wasn't close.
It happened.
Previous seasons, I was dead.
Yeah.
But it just was kind.
Yeah.
We both got through the corner. Now, NDM is still there. Whether it's less or not, there is no way of checking. There is no one can check.
We're not comparing apples with apples anymore.
Yeah. NDM is still happening. I've seen it lots already, which is a bit of a shame. Well, unless you're the car head.
Yeah.
Then you love NDM.
Oh,
Actually, it can be quite a good strategy into T1 in Daytona. You know,
just launch it in.
So no, just take it quite slow, and
Yeah.
he taps you, and he's absolutely gone and kills everyone behind him.
I need to qualify up front at Daytona, though.
Yeah, that's my issue. I'm only taking out P11 and 30.
Took out the pace car while you're at it.
Have you tried? Oh, also, the Ferrari Challenge car
Yes.
was for. I'm a bit confused by this. Whenever the downtime happens, I'm a 100% car owner, so you have to forgive me for being completely ignorant on, but I'm pretty sure I know the procedures. The downtime, the test drive facility never has new cars.
Correct.
Until like a year later or season later.
Season later, yeah.
I don't even remember, like, I had pre-download, like, I was able to just test this new Ferrari GT3 Challenge. I hadn't purchased it. It was just, I could test it. I'd done the update, obviously. I was able to click it and send it out. Have you drove it?
I haven't driven it, no.
I
didn't realize that was an option for, because I'm
Hey, Mark.
probably not buying it to race it.
Mhm.
And we don't do data packs on it. So, like, I probably wasn't going to drive it, so
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
It's
thoughts?
a rocket ship.
It's got like 700 horsepower, doesn't
Mate,
it?
yeah. So what, a GT3...
It's 550-ish.
Yeah, so a GT3 after Radeon reaches what, like, I say 255, 260.
In that realm, yeah.
Yeah. This car can reach 250 on every patch. The stretch to no name, like, mate, it's insanity. People were telling me to brake earlier, but it's it's road car brakes. It feels like road car brakes.
Well,
and you're going tremendously quick.
Yeah.
It's road car suspension. It feels like you're driving a Set Corsa.
Yeah.
Like, well, for me it does. I drive only really the IMSA S cars. It feels like a road car suspension. It feels like GT4 brakes at best, but you are honestly absolutely gun. It broke me. It actually, right. So I've been jumping cars for years. I do bops all the time. I was doing like 8 hours of Spa. Someone mentioned, oh, try the Ferrari. I was like, go on then. Did a bunch of laps, decided it wasn't really for me. It was fun. I was a bit worried about the series, it being a paid car and quite difficult, and Ferrari Fix has been around for years and popular. So I'm a bit worried, but it is at least matching the IRL event. I went back to just get back to bot mode. Okay, get in the next car. Mate, I was broken. I felt like I was in a GT4.
Yeah.
The GT3s felt really slow. Everything felt slightly wrong. Suspension felt numb. Like, yeah, it broke me for quite some time.
Yeah.
It took me a while to undo. Yeah. What do you think of the lap times? I think overall they are quicker.
Too quick.
Especially at the Nordschleife. Everyone's telling me 6, 7, 8 seconds quicker.
Yeah.
And we're talking on, let's talk about this. We're talking on, they're probably comparing the best stock they've ever put together versus just a
fixed understeer
or a rush stock.
Yeah. I was 1.5 seconds quicker at Sebring in the exact same conditions. And bearing in mind, I was driving the Acura, and going on to Zach's comment there, what I think of the GT3 Bob. Unlucky if anyone enjoys the Acura, that car's done. It's finished.
In Fix, that Fix stock is horrible.
So I did recording for a video going out on the Apex YouTube stuff, hopefully soon, about the new GT3, and I chose, all right, well, what's probably a good representation of where GT3 is at right now, based off of last season? Acura, probably. Most recent car. I thought, right, well, that's going to be my go-to car to really, like, one, get back up to speed, because I haven't driven a GT3 on iRacing this year, or at least it was maybe the very start of the year that I last tried it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get a feel for the Acura, and driving it felt fine with, ARA dock and the weather conditions there. So yeah, this whole thing's how it generally should, how I remembered. Yeah, all makes sense. And then I go to drive the Fix set. Oh my God. I was almost about to just like roll with that. And it's like, right, this tire is trash. The whole thing, like, you just can't rotate the car.
I actually saw your. I won't say it, but I saw your Discord message.
Oh, it was ever.
Sorry, your rant. Sorry.
Yeah, I was not happy. So I drove the Mercedes afterwards, used that as the car of choice, and I'm a little happier.
I loved it. Merc was my takeaway as my favourite.
Yeah.
And obviously by favourite I mean quick.
Yes.
So I really couldn't care. Like,
Well, the car stops like crazy now. Like,
Yep.
it just... Like,
Yeah.
You look at the brake pedal and, oh, yeah, we are stationary now.
And some of the cars that always struggled with traction inherently have got more traction. The Ferrari, the Beamer, and the Merc.
Well, the Mercedes as well, I didn't think was particularly good at traction. All the front-engine cars now, that their weakness is traction, all of a sudden it's not a problem anymore. So all of the cars have, I think, too much traction.
Yep.
And that's across wing settings as well. Like, out of the slow-speed corners, if you try and mash it, the car's going to, like, probably stick.
Yep.
So, I get, like, I'll mention Johan because he shared something in Discord with us. T1 at Spa. So that's not the easiest, especially
Correct.
on low
Yeah.
downforce, not the easiest corner to mash the power. Driving the BMW, again, it has no traction. It's never had traction. You need to sort of be a bit on throttle. No. He's just stepped on it and it's stuck perfectly coming off the corner. It's like, well, okay, that's probably not right. So if we could just have... So
you're... I hear what you're saying. You're claiming IMSA data, but tyres are freezing.
Pretty much. That's where I think we're at. To go quick, we still have to somewhat underdrive the car.
Agreed.
It's not like, so again, going back to James Baldwin's video from last week that we seen, where he got the early access and did the video on it, and he's been working with them. Like, things have improved for sure. Like, you can hit the brake harder and it punishes you less, but the whole bell curve brake trace stuff that we've seen over the last few years of like, well, this is how you kind of need to go quick in a GT3 particularly. It's still all kind of there. Like, we've masked over the big issues that we've had before.
Sure.
The underlying stuff that I would love to be different. Like, I'm begging to not brake with this smooth line up and then smooth line down.
The Sanchez brake.
The Sanchez brake. Like, I'd love to not have to do that anymore, but I did 2 laps where the tires were fully up to temperature and pressure and all that, and I was like 4/10 quicker just driving it the old way, the less fun way, versus like, right, I'm driving a racing car on slick tires. I'm gonna attack into these corners.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. Inherently, the cooler and in the range you can keep the tyre, the faster you still go. Yeah. They've just taken a slice off the extreme.
Yeah. The goalposts have moved, but we're not playing a different game yet.
Well said. Yeah. Yeah, well said.
I'm begging for like a genuine overhaul. I thought that's what this was going to be. So that's maybe why I'm more disappointed than most, because I was expecting this to be like, oh, this is a huge change in how we go racing in GT3, and I don't think it is. Sure. So like, give it 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's the proper litmus test. Talking about this in week 13, it's like, oh, well.
I agree. Yeah.
But
100%.
It's still definitely worth discussing. But the real litmus test is 4 to 6 weeks. What's everyone's opinions then?
Yeah.
GT3.
How are setups going? How's the meta being extracted? Has it changed at all?
I think it'll be so quality dominant in that everyone's going to be so annoyed at how that is that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a net improvement. Even though so much stuff has changed and improved, that's going to be the one big cloud over the entire thing that's like, do I even want to race this?
I agree.
So I really hope I'm wrong, because I want GT3 to be brilliant, but that's my worry on it.
So, because fixed races are inherently short.
Yes.
Quali dominant.
Yes.
They're very understeery, these fixed sets from iRacing.
Yes.
And 2 laps are spent managing understeer from this Q position you've been given based on how much cheese you can put down, and the race is really short. So I agree. I think GT3 Fix really can be the lead series in iRacing, because it's accessible.
Yeah.
Jump in, you can pick any car. You don't too worried about the bop if you can drive a car. But yeah, I just want these nasty, the bits we've ranted on about for a while to go away. Overall, though, if we've sounded quite negative, I quite liked it. I found it a lot more fun. I spent, I do this a lot. I found the door-to-door racing slightly better. I found the netcode slightly better. I found the tyre spiking on 10th thing a lot better. I don't care if the lap times... Yeah, I noticed the lap times are quick as well. I was banging in, like, all-time best at Sebring over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think I beat my IMSA data time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's in that sort of ballpark anyway.
I found the fun level a bit higher, and for me, that was massive. But, yeah, I agree.
I actually probably agree that once you get the tyre working, once we go past the stuff that we
4
don't
to 7, did you find?
Yeah, in around that sort of range, yeah, I agree. In that window, like it's really nice to drive. It feels quite easy to drive.
I thought that as well.
But it's also a GT3 car. It's not actually meant to be that hard to drive.
That's 5.
So again, it's probably fine.
I did notice at Spa, I was in 48C with low track state and a dusty track.
Should be challenging enough to drive.
Yeah, no, this was
easy.
Easy, yeah. So a couple of the corners where it's near flat, twingy, it was just flat every time, every car. But fair enough. Swinging back around to the Acura Fix set. I bopped all the cars.
Yeah.
I alt F4'd and refused to test the Acura Fixed. I couldn't fathom what on earth I was feeling. So I refused.
At Sebring, I had to like just take all of the wing out of it just to get the car to rotate. Just all right. So fixed sets on basically max wing. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Still, I was much quicker on the fixed set in the Merc than I was on my cobbled together set in the Acura. So not ideal.
Okay.
One more bit actually of new content, because there's not much in the way of new content, and yet we've managed to blag on. So the band.
I haven't been there, haven't bought it yet.
You haven't bought it yet? Okay, so week 1 of the GT4 stuff is there. So I've actually done quite a lot of driving around it over the last day and a half. I really like it.
Yeah?
It's not going to be for everyone. Like, if you're the sort of person who has a burning disdain for like VIR, then yeah, you're not going to like this.
I love VIR. It's one of my favorites.
You'll probably like it. It's a little bit more fiddly maybe than VIR. Less sort of chuck it in, but there's a quadruple right-hander for goodness sake in the international layout that most series will use.
Yep.
I think it's really good fun. There's a little bit of elevation change. You don't have to worry about track limits, really. It's you've got a little bit of curb and a bit of grass. Just don't go into the grass and you'll be fine. Big anti-cut curbs that you can't use, so you just got to stay off the anti-cut. So there's no worries about like cutting too much off the inside of a corner or anything like that. You just drive a circuit. It's what I would imagine Misano would be like if it was just in a field.
Okay, all right.
And like I love the layout of Misano, but I hate how much like you've got 40 foot of like curb and runoff to use, and you start braking with your left side wheels on the white line.
100%, yeah.
I don't have time for that anymore. So I honestly I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun corners in it. I think it's just about wide enough as well where you can like have some good racing. Maybe like GT3 is probably like the absolute limit of like
it's being forced into IMSA. This season they're changing the schedule.
Yeah, I've seen that actually.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be unpopular purely because it's not well known.
Sure.
And people aren't going to give it a fair crack. I do worry that maybe it's just a touch narrow in the wrong places. So like the middle of the lap is quite narrow and sort of single file-ish. But if you can stick behind someone, come off the last corner, it's a long pit straight, and then it's like right, left, tighter right, sort of like opening complex. So you can go side by side there, I suspect, and then follow that down into like a fairly tight hairpin. So yeah, the first third of the lap and then the last 2 or 3 corners, you can probably start scrapping. I reckon it'd be unreal in like MX5s.
Nice.
So,
okay, I'll have to check it out. I just haven't had time. Well, I wasn't going to learn a track on stream because that's no one wants to see that.
It's a tricky one to. I feel like again that's going to be where people will sort of shy away from it if you don't know it inherently before you go to it. Like it's not the easiest one to learn either. Once you get a feel for it, though, I think it's so much fun.
Okay,
I've really enjoyed doing my laps around there this week.
Because I challenged my chat recently to answer me, have we had a Tier A participation track since Fuji? and they said Portimao, which I agreed with it.
I don't think that's TRA participation.
Well, have we had one since Fuji? There's been a lot of tracks since Fuji. The Osserslebens, the Ridskogans,
But what could iRacing bring in that's actually going to be of...
No, what I mean is my worry is we burn out people trying to sell them tracks and then they not get used, or when they do get used, there's not much.
Lebanon wasn't free to begin with.
That's what I mean. Like, we've almost... people are less down to buy a track recently, I feel.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
They want to sort of sit back and wait to see if participation goes, but obviously that mentality doesn't help.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're in the wrong, because there has been way too many tracks that just don't get any love in a row.
And wrongly so, I think, because there's a lot of really good tracks out there that people don't race, don't drive, don't bother with. And
but there's only 5 tracks, so I don't know what you're
sorry, Spa, Watkins Glen, Daytona.
Sebring.
My hatred of Daytona knows no limits. If I could just get rid of one track from sim racing and hope nobody ever drives again, Daytona's #1 on the list. Silly circuit. Why are we? What are we doing?
I mean, I get where you come from.
It's just banked oval and a stupid chicane that nobody likes driving. But everyone loves Daytona though. But the bus stop chicane is horrible.
Yeah.
And then you got an awkward off camber, fiddly, trail breaking T1 and 3 hairpins, of which the third one is bumpy and off camber and leads back. No, it sucks.
And we get a new bus stop every year.
We do, and it gets worse every year.
Oh, 100%.
And then we go back to what we had before, only with maybe slightly different track limits. And you have to, well, no, these track limits now suck.
Yep. All right, I won't argue with you there.
Ban Rovals, all of them.
I like Charlotte.
No, no, I'll not even give you that.
Understood. All right.
Moving
on. Track Racer have released a limited edition rig based on the F1 movie. This is milking. But, I mean, it's not ugly. It's just a lot of gold. And expensive.
Is a lot of gold. Yeah.
But obviously, we've seen everyone cash cowing in on this. I mean, Track Racer, they have made a lot of deals in the past with Alpine and stuff, and this is just another clever partnership. I mean, you could just paint your TR 180, whatever it is, gold.
Yeah.
But have you really spent the money wisely? I actually use a Track Racer seat.
Thoughts on the Track Racer seat?
It must be good because it was one of my earliest seats I ever used. It was one I bought. I say I use that because I get sent, I get sent a lot of stuff. There's not much stuff I've gone out and bought. I bought that chair. And then when I moved from America to England, it was in my freight transport for whatever it took, 4 months to arrive. Yeah. And Race Anywhere hooked me up with a Sparko seat. And there was a massive benefit. It was a lot cooler because it's a near flat back, it's thin, it's light, there's not much to it, there's no siding, there's no padding, there's no headrest. So immediately I was like, wow, I'm cooler. In sim racing, you get hot. But then I had a problem with it during Pescal Stars. I had a bolt snap and anyway. Yeah. So I got my Track Racer off my dad. He had been using it. So I've owned it for years. It never got stopped getting used because my dad then used it. I then stole it back off him. And I love it. It is warmer. There are sides to it. There's a headrest. It's thicker, wider, padded, but the comfort level's insane. Yeah. So it might be a bit much for a pro because when I say comfy, you're probably thinking the Sparko seats are 4 mil cushions.
Yeah.
Comfy maybe is a centimeter. The one I use is about 3 inches of cushion.
Oh,
it's
huge. Right. So I'm breaking into your house and stealing that. Another thing that I have an undying hatred for is bucket seats.
Yeah,
and why we insist on using them in sim racing.
I'll show you the seat.
They're not that comfortable. Maybe because I'm built like a human bone, basically.
Here we go. When I mean cushions, I mean that thing you can pull out.
Yeah,
it is chungus. To be honest, the one downside.
I might actually just get one for myself.
The only downside is you have to rebuild your screens and wheelbase height because you are seriously taller, and you can't lower your seat into the rig more.
Yeah, true.
So when you hot swap seats, usually that's not really a thing. Maybe just the angle can affect your distance and stuff like that. But no, you really are affected. Yeah, I've had it for years.
Interesting.
But yeah, the cushion is like no other. Like no other. There you go. I just sold one to Jamie on a live, and I get nothing for it.
Absolutely nothing.
No, I'm not partnered with them at all. No,
Nothing.
no, no affiliate
You
link.
get nothing. Good day, sir. I
Good
say
day,
good
sir.
day. If you know, you know. Excellent. So yeah, a lot of gold.
Too much gold.
Too much gold. You could DIY that, I guess, if you really wanted to. But
Yeah, some people like the
aesthetics. Yeah, some people like gold, and yeah, that's definitely for them.
Some people like orange and put it on their wrist, and it looks scary. My wife hates this, by the way. She says, "You realise you look stupid." I'm like,
I mean, look at mine.
"Yeah, it's blue. Yeah, exactly.
It's a two-tone blue. It's brilliant.
It
Goes against everything else I wear.
Well, I only wear orange half the time.
I'm almost always like wearing black of some description, and then I've got this like obnoxious wristband. Yeah, it's great.
All right, up next, Project Motor Racing, which I feel like they should pay us. We've covered every update since they started, even before they started, when they were looking at starting.
Yeah.
This is only a short one, but they are showing off pictures of Kyle Army. Yes. So they are going all in with Project Motor Racing. They are launching with they are not early accessing this rubbish. They are going to PlayStation, Xbox, PC on launch day. They've got their website finished. This guy's going all in. He's used the term iRacing. Like I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous, but
I'm nervous because it's Ian Bell.
Hunter. He always knows what to say.
Yeah.
And let's see if he just knows what to do this time.
Yeah. Thoughts on Kyle Army? Just as a circuit in general? Do you have much experience with it?
ACC, yeah. I've done maybe an hour track time, and it was a while ago. A few tracks I've had to learn using ACC.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only time. I remember disliking it because I was
not as on pace as you would have liked.
Correct. And I got beat by people who were ACC drivers who I felt on iRacing I would, what's another polite word for decimate?
Yes. Obliterate.
But I got obliterated.
Yes.
And I looked a fool. So I blamed the track.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was a good track.
Yeah.
Have you got much drive time?
Again, it's all ACC. At least in its current configuration. I played racing games so long ago that it was like the old config where like your start finish line was sweeping right into the long arcing left. The layout's completely different now. So yeah, but it's just ACC now. I really like the track.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to drive into something that isn't ACC because I wasn't very good on ACC. So maybe my 1,000 hours of Rennsport will then translate back into ACC. I don't know, but...
So, swinging back to an earlier story, when we were in that streamer event together, the Ferrari at Hungaroring on release day, I had practiced thousands of hours in ACC to be ready, because I knew people like you were going to pick this track up in 2 laps. I'm not a fast learner when it comes to tracks.
I picked that up like crazy as well. I remember that.
So I knew ACC did do me solid, because when I transferred over to iRacing, hit the track, I just trusted a lot of the factors, and it was impressive. So I was very, very grateful to get that experience built up.
Yeah. I love Hungaroring. Hate it on iRacing, but I love the circuit.
I don't like it on iRacing, and you have to have downforce on iRacing, otherwise it's just a wash for me.
Yeah. Although, typically, the lower the grip levels, the quicker I go. So as much as I hate driving it, I then jump into like GT3 or GT4, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm quick, so I guess this is fun.
Brilliant.
My enjoyment levels are entirely correlated to how quick I am relative to people around me.
All right, we have another sim news. The Last Garage are previewing their sim at the Sim Formula Europe event this week. Now, Marcel Offmans, the former R-Factor 2 lead, has been working on this game. So we've covered this game plenty, but this is going to give people the opportunity to drive it. Now, every time I show a picture, it screams R-Factor 1 to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you even went that direction, and I pulled up the image here, it's like, oh, this is RF1.
RF1. Yeah, which was ahead of its time.
But its time was 2005,
Yeah,
6?
That's like saying the first Tomb Raider was ahead of its time, but
Yes.
we've moved on.
Yes.
Obviously, this is the sim that's touting the 1,000 hertz. I don't like the word support for laser scans. That's almost like, yeah, if we sell enough games and we raise enough money,
we can buy one of those big fancy scanner things.
we can. Yeah.
We can go to our local kart track and scan it. Let's
They're starting with triple screen support and virtual reality. Now, that's 2 games back to back that are taking the release of PC triples and everything seriously. To be honest, I feel like we only fell into this trap because of Unreal Engine.
I was just about to say, it's like, yeah, these guys are popping out and saying, we're not using Unreal Engine.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We're not going to have
not
these
gonna bother with
limitations out of the box. But I'm interested to see what these guys do. But when it was sweet when all these companies were talking about releasing, but now we've got LMU taking traction. We've got AC Evo on the horizon. I mean, iRacing's relentless pursuit of constant huge updates and the likes of Max Verstappen, like everything. It's not like before. I felt like there was room.
Yeah.
Now it feels like you're going to have to really. I mean, the only reason LMU did it was because of the tracks and the cars and the WEC.
Yeah. And they just kept chugging along in the right direction at a reasonable rate of knots.
Yeah, I felt like, to be honest, the Rennsport and LMU were similar on that initial because motorsport games were hated and Rennsport were hated. But Rennsport just ignored the haters and stuck to what they knew. LMU didn't ignore. They took it on the chin, listened, fixed it, tried to... They didn't... Rennsport keeps shoving things in people's faces. Like they say, track builder. It's like, no, we didn't ask for track builder. We asked for triples.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I felt like LMU just took it on the chin and listened and came out of it. So let's see. I really think Project Motor Racing, the other title, is going to be the one of these two, if any can succeed. Well, succeed as in at least mount a fight, because it's going to be tough out there. We've also got another one. It's not really a sim. The Endurance Motorsport Racing. It's a sim, but at any time you can press a button and then you're the manager and you're handling the strategy side, and now the AI's driving for you.
Oh, so it's Gran Turismo 4B spec all over again.
Yeah.
From 21 years ago.
It's actually from the people who are publishing Rennsport to console, the NACOM.
Yeah.
So let's see. Now it's exciting because all these different sims might bring an aspect or a functionality or something. Like if 1,000 hertz is absolutely game changing, we hear some of the top professionals say, like the game's ugly, there's nothing to do and it's not fun. But fundamentally, this is the closest we've ever felt anything to real life.
Yeah.
That can, we can have avenues of change. So
I mean,
we shall see.
Richard Burns Rally is still the most relevant rally game, and that was released in 2004.
Exactly. So we'll see. Maybe some innovations can be made, but long way to go. Sim racing is, what's the word, getting saturated. We've got lots of games now.
Yeah.
I mean, even hardware companies. It's hard to believe what I started with to what now. I get asked about wheels and pedals nowadays I've never heard of.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the company.
They're using... probably actually really good as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, your options are nearly limitless, essentially. Like, I mean, I remembered the early days of direct drives, and it was just Leo Bodner, and it was $6,000 a pop kind of a thing.
Yeah, it got sent to me. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to have a...
And it was dampened like crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, we need to fix some of this, but, it's a start.
Yeah, exactly.
Look where we're at now.
Yep, 100%. All right, I think that's everything on the news front. Is there anything from Apex Racing Team, apart from Nord24, unfortunately, didn't go away? Pace looked good, though. We were leading.
Yes. It was going well. But Nords is a cruel mistress, and it bites back.
Especially with the rain on the horizon. Looks like we dodged a bullet. To be honest, it did look hard.
Yeah, I think it got a lot harder than people were expecting.
Yeah, I saw that from some of the names I saw just
crumbling.
dropping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. I guess whilst I'm here, because the one thing I'm doing at the minute's the R1 stuff, and we finished the online season of that.
That's finished now?
Finished, yeah. So we did well enough to not fail miserably and not make it out to...
You're going to Saudi?
We're going to the Esports World Cup, and I'm looking forward to it for many reasons, but yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, right? Will there be a new BOP? Is it as is?
A little bit of a new BOP. So we're doing like the tracks that we didn't go back over. So we've raced 3 of the tracks twice this season.
Yep.
So the tracks that we didn't race twice, we're doing BOP for that. Do I think a lot's going to change? No.
Would they?
It never does.
Would they BOP based on like, a certain car at Road Atlanta or something, a certain car or a track you've raced twice, a certain car looking too dominant? Would they adjust based on visuals, or is it never done like that? Is it always done from pre-testing?
It's largely done from pre-testing because, I mean, I know what cars are strong based off of driving them, and then I look at the BOP that comes out, it's like, oh, well, okay, the car that was strong is still strong. Okay, cool.
Right.
So, yeah. And weirdly, so with the current physics or the current tire that we have at the moment, traction is king.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your tools that you use in BOP is adding weight to a car, which gives it more traction.
Right,
so
of course.
It doesn't actually make it really
We've had this
slower.
problem in iRacing before.
Yes. So that's kind of where we're at now, where the quick cars inherently are going to stay quick at the tracks that they're quick at, and we're going to have to grin and bear it.
How long away is it?
3.5 weeks.
Wow. So when does prep start?
Who knows? I've got a lot to do between now and actually prepping for it, but it'll be fine. I've done loads this season, so I'll just swing back into it. Be interesting. Well, actually, it's not been announced yet, and I don't think it's my place to say what equipment's being used out there. So that'll be fun once that all happens.
We need to get you that equipment though, ASAP.
Yes.
Let me know if I've winked twice if I've got it lying around at my house.
You have a lot of things, David. You have a lot going on.
I might be able to build you a eSport World Cup rig.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Probably my last big hurrah in terms of the competitive side of things. Probably.
I didn't know you was making that. Probably.
After that, I'll enjoy my sim racing in a different way.
Okay.
Probably. Maybe. We'll see.
So I only need to wait 2-3 years, and I might be able to take you.
Oh, 2-3 weeks?
No, I'm going to wait years just to be sure.
Not going anywhere for that. Just to make that clear. But,
imagine it's Fanatec. Well, I've got that lying around. If it's Fanatec, it won't be Fanatec.
I can tell you now, it's not Fanatec.
Get Rennsport to run hard enough. You don't want to add Fanatec as well.
Jeez. So PG's over retirement home for me, right? No. Still very much all hands to the Apex deck on this one, but yeah, competitive sim racing is
sure.
It's hard work.
No, I bet you've been doing it 10 years more.
All in 11 now, yeah. And competitively for like 7, 8. So full time for nearly 5. So.
And how much of that 7 years was practicing cheese?
Too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much.
That's why it's got to be gone.
So, yeah, it's looking like Riyadh will be the last esports thing that I do. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Excited for that.
Because then I'll have like opportunity to like probably stream again, which I haven't really been able to do for like 3 years. 4 years.
That'd be giggle.
So
your rally streams were the best.
They were all right. iRacing streams, how about that?
No, I can't picture it. Well, I loved your the Raw.
Oh yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah, that was good fun.
Loved that.
I hated the fact that I lost the lead pack and I just couldn't quite get back to it. But yeah, it was good fun. So yeah, that's, I guess, my tiny little sliver of news, if you can call it that.
Well, thank you for sharing. All right,
So,
I think that's everything, unless you've got anything to add.
no, that's all from.
We may
us
have
this
taken the crown for longest episode. Sam is going to be mighty
week.
jealous.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I pop in once a year.
Yeah. Lay down a record and
Just
leave.
push the boat out even further. It's like, take that.
Hiya, Greg. Yep, so I think that's everything from us. Make sure to check us out on Spotify and
Spotify.
iTunes podcast as well. Or Apple Podcasts, I think they've renamed it. The eyes, they're getting rid of the eyes. Anyway, that's talk for another time. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be back later on for a broadcast Porsche Cup at Monza, hour-long race. But obviously, there's plenty of streams that go on Apex Racing TV, and we'll be back in a week's time for this.
Well, I mean, David will. Sam was probably coming back from his purgatory.
He is. He's allowed back.
He's
One,
allowed
1 week ban.
1 week ban.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, you'll have Sam to deal with again next week. Take it easy, guys.
Yeah.